Over the last few episodes, we've built a squid farm, a mob farm, sugarcane farm, kelp farm, iron farm, and a villager trading hall. And today, I'm getting away from this place. We have been here for way too long, and I need to go do something else. I've been enjoying my time here, don't get me wrong, and we've still got lots of work to do, but today, we're going to go do something a little bit different. And that brings us over here to what will be our main base area, but more specifically, we need to head just inside this tiny gap in the mountain. And in here, what I want to do is make a start on my main storage system. So this is actually above the spider string farm that is basically redundant now that we got the string we needed to build the real farm. But the plan is to put a storage area up the top here. We are going to be having some farms in here as well. It's not just over at the industrial area. We'll be having things like the sheep farms and other sort of smaller passive farms are going to be in this area, but mainly I do want to get my storage system in, and I've got a bit of an idea in my head of how I want it to look, but I don't even know how to describe it, so we're probably just going to make a start. It's going to be lots of wood, lots of leaves, all kind of natural looking, and it's going to be hanging from the ceiling, which is why we needed iron for chains and hoppers, because it's also going to be an automated storage system. And yeah, as I say, I do have a rough idea of a layout. I don't know how it's going to look and work in here, but I guess unless we make a start, we're never going to know. And the very first thing to do is to actually make a proper entrance into this bit. We will, of course, still be able to get in via the hole in the ceiling over there if we're coming from the other direction and we're flying, but I want to have just a normal sort of foot entrance down here. I'm not too concerned about making it look nice at the moment. I just want to get the gap in where it actually needs to be. Let's remove some of this as well. That's kind of in the way, and just cover up that hole, I guess. There we go. That'll do for now. We will, of course, decorate that and make it look nice. It's still just a hole in the side of the mountain at the moment, but at least it's now visible. And I guess I'm going to need to go grab lots of wood to try and work out how this is going to even lay out. Yeah. This is going to be a big task, this one, but I'm quite looking forward to it. I'm back here with a whole lot of stuff and things. I've got so many chests of wood here. This should be enough to do what we want, and I've started coming up with a little bit of a plan here. I will still do a bit more texturing and things. I want to get some campfires in, but this is going to be a small bridge that's then going to go to our first storage segment, I guess. And the idea is I'm going to make lots of little segments that are all going to kind of link together via a sorting system. It could be a little bit messy to set up, but I think it's going to be worth it in the long run if we can pull it off. So I have a little bit of an idea of how I might lay this out, but I'm going to play around here with some spruce and some dark oak and some campfires and see if we can work out roughly what at least the inside part of one of these segments is going to look like, because I think once we've got that down, that is going to help us figure out the outside too. And we have to bear in mind we're also going to need space behind to make sure we can actually put in all the filter systems and so on. But I reckon we can probably get this to work. Hopefully. So I'm thinking about this size should work. This is going to enable me to put 6 chests on each side, and obviously I can stack those up a little bit as well. The question is, do we have enough space back here for the sorting system? So we're going to need, let me think. So we've got chests there, and then we'll have chests set back, and then it's going to be hoppers, and then it's going to be the first bit of the system, and then another 2 back. So I think there is where we're going to need it. So is that going to be sort of 2 sections of 3? I wonder. Let's maybe go grab a couple of bits that we're going to need for the sorting system and actually put the first row in place, because that's going to enable us to actually figure out the size a little bit better. So we're going to have a chest there and then another chest in front, and that's all what's going to feed down. At least, is that how we want it, or do we want them both? We want them both just sitting at the front here? No, I think I do want them set back, because otherwise this corridor is going to feel very, very enclosed. So we'll do them a bit like that, I think. So next up we're going to need hoppers, and then that's the one that's going to be read by the comparator, so that means we're going to need a block there, and we're going to need some glass as well. I didn't bring any glass with me, so I'll tell you what, let's just mark it out with these for now, and then the target block there. So that is how wide we need it. So we do actually need to go back one more on this side, not a problem, and then we're going to want to frame this piece in as well, but I think I want to have it as like a separate hanging piece from the one that's on that side, so it's kind of 2 segments hanging next to each other, which I know probably doesn't make a lot of sense right now when I say it, but I assure you it will in future, hopefully, maybe. So to actually do the sorting bit, we are going to need to replace these with glass so that the redstone can run through, but that does give us a good idea of how it's all going to sit on the back end. Now just to get this built up a bit more, I guess. So I'm thinking from the corridor side, something like this could work well. So the bottom ones would be auto-sorted, and then we've got barrels for variants of them. We will have sort of different kind of units as we go around, depending what we're going to be storing. But for example, for things like wood and the different stone types, and then the sort of crafted things that you make from them, going in these up here, I think that should work quite well. Although on reflection, I'm wondering if these should be barrels as well, just in case. There we go, we just swapped those out, so if we do need a bit more space, there's still some there. But that should do quite nicely for that, and then we're going to sort of hang this down from the ceiling, get some foliage on it and so on, but we do of course need to do the one next to it as well and get the actual sorting system in. So I think that's exactly what I'm going to do next. So it's just going to be our standard item sorter, so the first thing we need is a comparator on the top there, and then 3 bits of redstone, and that will power the target block, which will turn off the torch, which will release the hopper when the items fill up. Simple as that. We just need to repeat this another 5 times on each section. And there we go. We've also got this bit boxed in now, and that should work fine. As you can see, something has gone into the hopper here. What do we got? Okay, just a stripped dark oak log, but that does show that it's working and the hopper is locked. It's not letting things through, and I did not mean to put that fence there. So what I need to do now is get this attached to the ceiling so it's not just floating in mid-air. And then I need to repeat it on this side, connect the two, and make it look a little bit nicer, because it does still look a bit bland at the moment. They're just kind of weird boxes hanging. Well, they're not even hanging, are they? They're floating. Let's fix that. So I think we're just going to use a combination of walls and chains here to get these hanging, and it looks quite good on that one. Let's just try it on this one as well and see if it works with the slightly stumpier chains here. Well, I would say simple but effective. However, we are going to need to do something about this roof here. It doesn't look quite right at all, does it? So I'm not going to worry too much right now about where the sorting pipes and things are going to actually sort of run off to and connect to and so on, but I do want to at least mark out where it's going to be, and that's going to be around there somewhere, although it's going to need to actually hold stuff in as well. So we're going to have pipes that look a little bit like that running around the place. There we go, that's looking a little bit more embedded in the cave. I think the dangling ropes and the leaves make a big difference, and I've added a bit of a lantern, and I think once we get the other side in and actually connect them across the top here, that's really going to tie it all together. So it's time to make this again on this side, I guess. And just like that, we have the first unit complete, although I think I've gone a little bit overboard on the leaves. We'll have to fix that situation. But I've got the entrance and exit points for the pipes as well, and what I need to do is sort of connect these pipes up. I think I'm going to have this one coming across this way, and then up and over the walkway, and then it can just drop down into this one and carry on in that direction. So we're essentially going to be going anti-clockwise around the storage system. As long as I remember that as we build the other units, we shouldn't have any problems. So I'm going to work on getting these pipes connected, and then we're going to put another module out the back here, although we might drop it down by a block or two just to make it a bit more varied. Oh yes, that's looking much better, especially with these pools of water coming down. So let me just explain a little bit about what's going on here. But as you can see, we've got the item transportation pipes. They are going around. So if we go down into this new section down here, I still don't have any item frames, however, so we do need to sort that out. But the items are going to come in through this tunnel. They flow around the back here, and then they will get pushed up there by soul sand. However, I don't have any soul sand, so I've just got placeholder block for the moment. It runs around the back here, and then once again, we need some soul sand in there, and it gets pushed up, goes across, drops down, and then goes around the back of the other ones. However, to add a bit of detail, what I've done is I've kind of blocked off there and have a water stream coming this way as well, but there's no way for the items to get into this bit. Same on this side. I just think it really adds a little bit to what's going on up here. And once we decorate the rest of this cave, hopefully it's going to all tie it together. The ceiling still looks rubbish though, but we'll get to that. So the next step's going to be to put a platform in the middle here, and that's going to be a sort of centralized platform for the storage. We're going to have different tunnels and, well, component type thing, hanging thing. I don't even know what to call these. Modules? Yeah, we'll call them modules. And then we're going to have different storage modules going off in the different directions. We're also going to have a manual storage one, which we're probably going to put at an angle because, well, why not? But in order to make that happen, we need to take into account that these are quite deep. They're about 8 blocks deep in total, which means this bridge over to the middle bit is going to need to be about 8 blocks. Otherwise, when we put the one in this side, they're going to end up banging into each other, and we don't really want that. So the first thing I need to do is to get some form of bridge in, and once again I think I'm going to have it just sort of sag down, but we might keep it at a similar level to this one here, just so it doesn't look too odd. Bridge is in, and now I just need to work out how I want to actually do the central bit, because I haven't really thought about this yet. So I wonder, I'm just going to start placing some blocks. I think I want it to be sort of round or hexagonal. I think a hexagon's probably actually going to be a better way to go, because that way I can put in some angled tunnels here and there if I want them. Question is, how big do we want this hexagon to be? I say hexagon, I do of course mean octagon. There are 8 sides, I can count, honest. So something like this could work, and what I'm thinking is maybe we'll put a few bits in here. So if we want to drop anything off directly into the storage system, if we do just that, that could work quite well. Underneath there, we're going to have a minecart hopper, or a couple maybe, just to collect things, but this won't be for dropping off masses of stuff. It will just be for, you know, throwing away, hey, you know, I've got a few extra chains I don't need, let's chuck them in sort of thing. So that's the idea here. However, what I do also want to make sure we do is have access to workstations and things like that in this kind of area, and somewhere where we can drop off things in a bit more of a bulk format. So maybe a combination of chests on these corners, maybe some hoppers as well, so we can just dump down shulkers to empty those, and a few crafting tables and those sorts of things. I'm just going to work on this central area basically and see what we can come up with, just to have a few basic workstations. I will of course need to attach this to the ceiling somehow as well, and I think I'm going to use a combination of some of the dark oak logs, some walls, some chains, and pretty much just hang it from here. So I'm thinking something like this. We'll get some foliage hanging down, and that's going to give us these nice big gaps as well in between the different segments of storage, where we can of course put things like super smelters and smaller farms like the dye farms, maybe things like that. But I like how this is coming together. So for bulk drop-off, I've got the barrels here. They're going to have hoppers underneath that will lead into droppers and spit things into the water stream. But for individual things, we can just throw them straight in there. I've also hidden some crafting tables under these bits here. They didn't really fit in with the style. I couldn't put them in the floor because these are all half slabs. So yeah, hidden away. I think that works. So I'm going to work through and get the rest of this platform finished up, and then it's just going to be a case of cracking on and making all the other different storage modules. So we could be here for quite a while yet. This really isn't a quick process. I've been doing some planning and we're definitely making progress. So I'm starting to work out where different things are going to go. I've switched up the design in a few places, but I think we've got the sections marked out that we need, at least the main ones, and these are going to be sorting all the sort of main blocks essentially, and then all the variants and so on can just be manually put into the boxes above when they end up in some kind of system, which is going to be here for overflow items. So anything that doesn't get picked up by the filters will end up in chests around here somewhere. I just haven't decided where yet. But I've also added another 2 sections over here, which are the same as that one there. And then we've got larger sections over here, which are actually going to have 2 sorters on the back of each one. And we're going to be sorting all the colourful stuff, essentially, down this corridor. So we're going to have the dyes and the wool all in here. And then we're going to have terracotta and concrete over on this one. The glass, because of the style we're going to be building in this season, I don't think we're going to need to auto-sort too much glass, mainly just standard glass and white glass, so I've given them a slot over there, but the rest of the glass we'll just manually sort. Lastly, we're going to have this section that goes off this way, and this is going to be for the more sort of miscellaneous items. So obviously we've got the sea-related stuff, such as the coral blocks and the ocean monument type thing, prismarine, that's the one, and all that stuff. So that's going to end up in sorted segments over here. And then we need to figure out where we're going to put bulk storage as well, because I want to have some kind of system that means when certain things are overflowing, like for example the stone and cobblestone likely to get quite full, it'd be nice to have just a system or a lever or something we can do to drain it out into a silo down below. But that's definitely going to be something for a future episode. So I've got a lot of sorting systems to put in here, and I've got a lot more left over this way to mark out. So I'm going to be working on this probably for the next few days. And that means I'm going to be ending the episode right about here, because otherwise you're never going to see this video. I hope you have enjoyed it though, and if you've got any recommendations for up here, do let me know, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye now.